Hello, here we are. We are in week 5, I think. Hopefully this week some of you have started to see some financial relief. We've got a little bit, not everything works in our favor, but you just roll with it and be grateful for what we have. Try to focus on the good whenever you can. So today we're making, it's really cold out. It was snowing earlier today. So today we're going to make a recipe that we found maybe a year or two ago. It's a Rachel Ray recipe that I've modified in certain ways just to make it my own, and it is red wine and red beet pasta. Beets are one of those things that, I mentioned before, that there's stuff that certain households won't go through in a year, and we go through in a month, and red beets are one of them. We eat a ton of red beets. We have 2 boxes in our garden planted to beets, and both my kids really enjoy them. So this is a fun recipe, really vibrant color, and gets a lot of good vegetables in. So how do you start? If you wanted to make this a meatless meal, you absolutely could. You would just start by heating some olive oil in the pan to saute chopped onions in. I like to start with bacon. So I rendered out a lot of nice bacon there, about half a pound, and I cook it until it's completely crispy. And then I'm going to add to that about 1 really large diced onion. So let me show you what I got on the board working. We have 1 diced onion, and those are roasted beets that I grated on a grater. And then in the back I have some grated Parmesan cheese. So when I roast beets, what I like to do is take a piece of foil, just chop off the tails and the heads of the beets. Wash them, but don't worry about peeling them or anything like that. Throw them skin in to a piece of foil, drizzle them with olive oil, salt, pepper, wrap them up. Put them in the oven for to cook at 350 for about 2.5 hours or so. The way that I know they're done, I peek inside, I open up the foil and I squeeze them. And if they give to the touch, then I know they're ready to go. When you pull them out of the oven, you let them sit in that foil a little bit. And what that does is kind of steam the skins. So by the time that they cool enough that you can handle them, I just take a paper towel and I rub the outside of the beets, and the skin just slips right off. So that's how you know you've had them done really well. Then I just save them for the week. So I did maybe 5 or 6 yesterday. I'm going to use some today for this. I'm going to use some for a goat cheese and red beet flatbread later in the week. And they hold really nice. So once you're ready to use them, I just use the box grater, and I grated them on the side. So I have the bacon nice and hot on the stove. I'm going to add the onions in, and I'm going to saute that up. And then I'll catch up with you again. Okay, so now that we've sauteed up those onions, we have the bacons and the onion. We are going to add to that the grated red beets that we have. I have a pound of pasta that I already cooked and boiled. You want to cook it al dente where it's almost done, but not quite, because we're going to cook it a little bit further in the pot. And then you're going to need a bottle of Chianti. Just any old cheap Chianti is going to do, even if you do the Pio. Just look for the DOC on it for a bottle of Chianti. If it has the Black Rooster, even better, but no more. Don't spend more than $10 on a wine that you're going to cook with. Rachel Ray, when she made this recipe, put a nice Brunello di Montalcino in here. And it's an amazing wine. It's what I'm going to drink with it. I am not going to cook with that. Don't waste good wine on cooking. All you do, you're going to ruin the wine. So I'm going to add those to the pot, stir it up, and give you a peek. So for the amount of pasta that I have, just about half the bottle is fine. I want you to see what this looks like with the beets, the pasta, the wine. And you're going to put this back in the burner. You're going to keep stirring it probably for another, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes, because you want to finish off that pasta that wasn't quite done the whole way through. And then when you get to the very end of it, we're going to season it handsomely with salt, pepper, arugula, and cheese, and I'll let you know what the finished product looks like. Okay, so I only let that cook for maybe 3 or 4 more minutes so that the pasta soaked up all the wine that was in the bottom of the pan, and I want you to see how beautiful it became. I've already given this a really healthy dose of pepper, and a secret ingredient, if you happen to have it, rather than using regular salt, which you absolutely can, is if you can find truffle salt. This one is from the Spice and Tea Exchange, has black truffles and salt, infuses it, and I like to use that as my salt for this pasta. So here at the end, I'm going to throw half a bag of arugula in, and you do it at the very end, just because you just want it to barely wilt. While still staying nice and vibrant and green. I'm going to throw about half the amount of Parmesan cheese in that I have. And I want you to see how pretty this is. Even my kids really like this this meal that we make. Wine pairing that I'm going to do today. As I mentioned, Rachel likes to cook with the Brunello. That's a bit salty. For me, I'm not going to use that to cook with, but I am going to use it to drink. So when we went to Italy, as I told you before, we brought a lot of bottles of wine back in our suitcase, 65, I think. And one of them was one of my favorite producers. So this is called Dorcia. They're down in southern Tuscany in the Montalcino region. And this is the Brunello di Montalcino. So this is also made from 100% Sangiovese, just like Chianti, and just like Rosso di Montalcino. Vino Novo Montepulciano is the other one. Montepulciano and Brunello are side by side, those regions in southern Tuscany. Both of them make wine from 100% Sangiovese. Has to age a little bit longer in oak, the Brunello does, before it's able to be released. And so of all the wines of Tuscany, it's probably the biggest one. It has the best ability to age. 20 years is no big thing for a Brunello. This is a 2010, so it's only 10 years old, or maybe opening it a little bit early, but I can't help it. I can't wait. Let me plate this for you quick so you can see how gorgeous it is. There we go. You can't beat that color. Look at it. I'm going to top it with a little bit more cheese, some more black pepper. And that is our easy meal for the week. Hope you're having a good one, and we'll talk to you soon.